Good morning. We are at 11:46 in the morning, or midday actually, and it's April 28th, and that makes us day 9 here in Thailand. Um, I'm just kind of waking up late because another day off. I'm just taking a few days off, not doing much of anything. Um, I mean, there's things to always do. Trust me, when you have the benefit of having a plug to plug all your devices in. You need to start charging your stuff when you first get to a room. You have to take your dirty clothes. You know, I have my clean set and my dirty set, and I guess I have a few miscellaneous ones now. But like this shirt is kind of new, but that gives me one extra shirt. So one of them I can toss. But you have to hand sync. You know, you have to hand sync. I mean, you could pay. I mean, they only charge by the kilogram here. You could go find a place to do it for you and stuff like this. But just being a hobo traveler, you need to actually, as a vagabond, you need to get used to anytime you can utilize a hotel room sink, clean your clothes. If it doesn't have a plug, I know there's a universal plug sometimes you can find. But honestly, if you just get one of those plastic bags, that's the common thing most all homeless people and vagabonds and stuff do, is you just put your clothes in the plastic bag. That acts as and put it and fill it up in the sink and leave it in the sink. Just wash it inside the plastic bag. If you want them to soak, just kind of tie off the plastic bag. Any plastic bag will work. Put your soap in the plastic bag, everything, and after you're done, you can just throw away the plastic bag, or you can dry it out and reuse it. Uh, I keep reusing plastic bags until I have so many of them, I just have to throw them away, you know, because it's just like I got, you know, it's everything goes in a plastic bag. It's out of habit because I'm afraid I'm going to get stuff wet when, but then you end up building up this extra. I know plastic bags don't weigh a lot, but you end up building up a lot of plastic bags that are just getting in the way in your bag, and at first plastic bags can make everything more organized, but if you get too many of them, then everything starts getting disorganized. But yeah, you want to utilize the fact that you can clean your dirty clothes. So even though I call them my dirty clothes, they get cleaned constantly. They're just they're a quick, quick wash, some soap, with whatever I can. If no soap, just water, anything to get the surface dirts off, and more than anything, the sweat. You want to get the sweat out and stuff like that. Dirt's not really too bad. Meaning the water does not have to be crystal clear when you're rinsing out everything, but you definitely want to get the sweat buildup and anything that might cause the odors. You want to get the odor out. Um, and dirt will take away from your thermal value of your clothing. So how well it breathes, and also the warmth that it's able to keep in and stuff. The more dirt you get, the worse it is. Um, Gore-Tex is notorious for this. I mean, that's why a lot of people don't even wear Gore-Tex, is because once Gore-Tex gets dirty, it's useless. It loses all its breathing value whatsoever, and people don't realize that. They spend so much money on Gore-Tex. And just a slight little more bit of dirt and stuff plugs up them pores, and it doesn't breathe anymore. So Gore-Tex, I've always found Gore-Tex to be, one, cold, and two, inefficient. Honestly, I know a lot of people disagree with that, but that's why you don't see a lot of homeless people walking around with Gore-Tex on. It's just, there's better alternatives. Yeah, and so that's just a small little ramble. But clothing is one of your biggest aspects of regulating your body temperature, and um, so while we're on the subject of actually regulating body temperature, I do want to mention one book, 98.6 Degrees, The Art of Keeping Your Ass Alive. It's an older book by Cody Lundgren. He's a Aborigine, like, survival skills, expert. I mean, He's based out of Arizona, which I was in Arizona for a long time. I lived in Mesa, and I traveled around, the Flagstaff, Preston, all these areas, and the high desert and low desert and everything. So he's very well known over there. But he wrote that book, which was very influential. It was a very big book because the reason why is he covered in depth a subject that's only mildly gone over by other survival books, but it's so important that it is in every survival book, and it's about layering your clothes and everything from how the ground can suck the heat right out of your body if you just lay on it. So he went through all of this subject very in depth, and honestly, you can actually survive a lot of changes in weather and stuff if you just regulate your body temperature properly with clothing and different things like this. And just having this knowledge of how to do it, it will save your life. And anyway, I thought it was a very good read. It has lots of pictures for the ones that like to, be immersed in a book with pictures. I think a picture is awesome when it comes to trying to explain stuff. It helps to explain stuff easier. But anyway, I just want to mention that because if you guys are planning on traveling and doing the hobo thing, because why not? It's great. You need to start working on your bushcrafting skills a little bit. But a lot of it is just common sense. And his book, 98.6, a lot of it is just very common sense that you might not think of, and you need that knowledge. So, yeah, start picking up some books on bushcrafting a little, because it also gives you something to do while you're by yourself in the woods. And that's why I loved it so much, is because I would wake up, crack a beer or whatever, sit there, watch some videos on YouTube from David Cranberry or other people, and because there are several other people. He was my go-to Man of Steel type woodsman type, and and just start practicing your skill set. It's a good way to actually spend up some time. But anyway, guys, I just want to mention that. I know that's just a shameless plug on my side, but if you read that, then you can understand more me, and the knowledge set that I come from and stuff like this. And it's a knowledge set that all the hobos do. You always have a bushcrafting book on one of the hobos, one of the train riders and stuff like this. It comes with the traveling territory, and the more you know, the less you carry. So anyway, I want to mention him. I truly do respect him. He's awesome. I read both of his books that I know of. I don't think he has more than two, but I read everybody's books. So. Yeah, keep some books on your phone too. Always keep books on your phone. If you have the time, it helps because you're not always going to have a signal for YouTube. So it's good to always just. And regular books can take up room in your backpack. But all right, that's all, guys. Today, I don't know. I'm just gonna go get something to eat from 7-Eleven, and I might put yesterday's video and today's video together, or I might just send out yesterday's video as is raw. This internet here sucked. It took over 5 hours to actually upload a video yesterday. The video is 45 minutes long. Around there, but it's some people's internet's just like that. I noticed this place's internet because the last spot I was at had great internet. It was fast upload. So it's about 1 megabyte per second type slow. I'm like, I can't do this, and it was 20 gigs. So I know I said I'd start watching how many gigs I'm uploading. So 45 minutes was 20 gigs yesterday. It's not always like that, but yeah, you do the math. All right, guys. That's all for now. We're all caught up and up to date. And so I don't know what I'm going to do today. Well, as you can see, it is a rainy day. So As for me getting out and doing anything, I think those plans are shot, guys. I'm just down at my favorite go-to spot. See if we can get the sign. There you go. It's 7-Eleven. It's behind me. Sorry. Get out of the rain. But yeah. So I was gonna do a few things. Like one thing is I need to start price shopping a little for phones. I did price shopping over in Vietnam because when I was trying to decide between either the camera or just getting like an Oppo phone, this camera won out, and I'm glad it did. It was just an awesome little camera. But yeah, like I said, now my phone's still saying I'm gonna have to eventually do something about this. It's just wearing out. You know, it's 2 years old, but it's finally it's seen better days. But I was gonna do some stuff like that, but rain is gonna kind of hold me up, guys. So yeah, that's me up, giving you guys an update. It's rainy here in Pattaya. Maybe I'll just head back, start editing yesterday's material, and maybe it'll dry up here in a few minutes. Because yeah, there is a little blue sky up there somewhere. Alright, bye. Hey, it's 4:47 right now. Just finished editing yesterday's video, which was longer than I thought it was. Actually, I was surprised I got a half an hour out of it, just shy of a half an hour after editing. So I'm converting it right now on the UCut app, and then I'll be uploading that. It takes a long time here with the Wi-Fi, so I figured I'd do some of my patches. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I said this, but I ended up finding some canvas needles. Canvas needles are the bigger needle sets with the wider holes and stuff like this. This allows stuff like dental floss to be sewn through. Dental floss is just something a lot of the travelers just do because it's waxed nylon. I've also used the inside of 550 paracord. There's like 7 strands of nice bright white. I like that nice because I like seeing the stitchings on the patches. Like when you have a nice set of Carhartt, let's say overall, overalls on, and they get cut. You put a nice, a nice big patch on it, stuff like this. Sew it in, but make the each stitch, make it nice and wide and make it look, where it pops and stuff like this. And it's a thing. Actually, sewing is a big thing within the Hobo traveling community because each patch is like a badge of honor. And people really, you actually grow attached to them because all the years of traveling and just sewing and stuff, and there's a relaxation in it. So I have my needles, my canvas needles. They're called canvas needles because if you're sewing canvas, you need something that's a little more durable, something a little bit stronger, thicker, and that small thin thread that you use for everyday clothing and stuff is not quite, it's not thick enough to actually sew canvas and hold. Anyway, yeah, so I was putting the patches on using Velcro, and it worked. It was a good idea, if you're in a country and that you might want to remove a patch, like if you're in an Islamic country and you got a patch like this, the first place I went to, might want to remove that, or even the American. But if I sew these in, I can just, if it's upsetting to the country that I'm in, or it might cause me problems and hardships that I don't want to deal with, I can take a little duct tape and over the top. So I'm going to sew these more permanently in. To do that, we need to empty out the whole backpack, right? And so when I'm doing that, when everything goes back in, I'll also reduce back to the bare minimums of what basically I started with. Through time, you just start accumulating stuff you don't need. So every once in a while, it's good just go through and say, do I really need this? Do I need to still be carrying this? Like I said, you want to be, the less you're carrying, the more the better your travels are. Um, through my eras, I've actually done both. I've had lots of gear, lots of cooking sets, camping sets, and all this stuff. But what having an abundance on your backpack, what that causes is you end up with better sleeping nights. Like your camp areas are really comfortable and nice, and you got the food cooking and all this, and it's nice. But then your day travels are terrible and they're slow because you're carrying so much weight on your back and your neck hurts and your back hurts and you're just not making it because you're carrying a 30 kilo plus, you're carrying a sack of cement on your back or more, Now think of how much a sack of cement, weighs around 50 pounds. Imagine carrying that around all the time. So my suggestion personally, and I know a lot of other people suggest this too, is woodsmen and survivalists, is never go over the 30-pound limit, never go over your 7.5 kilo, and never go over 7 kilos. So that's when it comes to just what you're carrying as gear. Now you add the water on top of that, now you're doubling that, right? So if you're carrying 7 kilos in gear and 7 kilos in water, you've already hit that 30-pound mark. So you're already up to your 15 kilos. So but it's very hard to stay at that. Honestly, it is. It is extremely hard. That's basically bare naked, bare minimum, nothing. You're carrying nothing. But always shoot for it. And if you go over, you go over. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're going out to the sticks in the woods and something more long-term, you definitely need to be carrying the 50-liter plus, backpack. And you need to be making sure that you have the gear you need, especially if you're going into winter. You can carry less gear during summers and stuff, more winter, because it's just easier to die in winter. It just is. It's way easier to die in the winter than it is during summer. And yeah, so anyway, I'm going to do some sewing. I'm going to waste some time. I'm waiting for this. It's at 90%. And then I'll just probably, this is yesterday's, this is today's. After this one, I'll just put this one out. That way we're all caught up in current. So when I leave tomorrow, which I'm going to leave tomorrow, I plan on it. I want to get back out on the road. And the next town I can stop for long. But, all right, guys, I'm going to get to sewing. Well, it's a little past 11 now, and the day is basically over. I have done a whole lot of nothing today. I actually did just go out to get something to eat with a gentleman that I just met over at the hostel, but I didn't really feel like sticking a camera in his face. So I decided to do my closing remarks here for the day. I'd just go out for a nice little spin on the bike. Just kind of film Pattaya a little on the back streets. So the plan is, I guess, tomorrow to start hitting the road again. There's no real reason for me to keep kind of hanging around here. I can always take another break at the next city I come to. Today I just didn't have any material really to put on here. I got to actually go out and do things to get material. So that's kind of one reason I'm just riding around town right now. Is just to have something to put on the video. So I can slap it up on YouTube and keep everything current when I leave the door today. But it's nice, you know, it was nice kicking up my feet, getting a little rest and stuff like that. But I'm all rested now, guys. And I just want to get back out and go. So this is where I'm going to probably say goodnight, y'all. And tomorrow we'll pick this up again. We'll hit the road. And we'll see what the next town has to offer. Good night, y'all.